Hi everyone. As we are going to start the session for the day, let me just quickly brief about the last session. We already done many topics about your troubleshooting and configuration. So today I'm going to explain about debugging commands. And today I'm going to start a kind of scenario where we understand like how we can do apply debug and sniffer. So let's have a quick login on lab. I'm trying to build now a new setup so that we can understand like how Fortigate do work and how we can do start the configuration of Fortigate. So that's your Fortigate lab number one. And here our agenda is to understand like how internet work and how we can do perform packet sniffer and how we can do get the packet captures from your Fortigate. So let's have a scenario here. Let's have a scenario based understanding. And I'm going to start with one scenario where we have a firewall as well switches. So that's my FortiGate firewall. That's my FortiGate firewall. And this FortiGate firewall connecting to your internet cloud. So this internet cloud is providing connectivity to firewall. See, and this is my port number one. So in this topology, we are trying to use this port number one, which is going to connect to outside world. Outside world means it's your untouched network, and we are trying to connect port number one with outside world. And rest, I'm going to use two bundle links, which is connecting to switch. And then accordingly, we can do understand like how it do work overall. So let's have a look here. And I'm going to connect one switch. Yeah, that's my layer 3 switch. One second, I have to select the layer 2 switch. Multi-layer switch. So it can do perform switch and router both work. So I'm going to connect my firewall with switch. And I'm going to connect two cables from firewall to switch. So port number 2 and port number 3. And here in this topology, I'm going to use one client machine also. That's my Windows 7. And this particular Windows 7 is going to connect with this switch. And let's suppose it's part of your VLAN 10. And another machine I'm going to use, that's your VLAN 20. So it's totally scenario-based understanding. So we have two switches here. As well, we have a client machines and firewall. So I'm going to start my topology. Just do right click and start your topology. Before starting anything, let me just demonstrate like what exactly we are going to do here. So the very first link is my WAN link. And here I'm going to configure IP address, which is 172.1.191/24. That's my WAN link. And here on LAN, I'm going to configure IP 10.1.1. On the switch port, I'm going to configure IP, which is 2. And these ports, these two ports I'm going to configure in VLAN. So it's 10.102.102.1/24. That's a IP on here, VLAN 20. Let's say it's your VLAN 20. And here on this machine, I do configure IP, which is 10.103.103.1, and it's part of VLAN 30. So that's the scenario. And it's our Fortigate lab number 4. So I just do mention here, Fortigate lab 4. In this lab, we do try to understand how the WAN connection, LAN to WAN connection, we can pass through this bundle link, and how we can do send our traffic from VLANs to Fortigate firewall, and what all configurations we can do get here in this. Apart from that, we also try to understand your debug sniffer packets and captures. So guys, if you see here, so we have a machine 1, machine 2, which is connecting to switch, and we have a Fortigate firewall, and these two links I'm going to club, and I'm trying to perform here ether channel, or I'm trying to perform bundling. So Fortigate to switch, we have a bundle link. So if anyone, those who do not have, if anyone who's not having idea about this ether channel or bundle, so let me just brief about the bundle. So bundle allowed to club two or more links together. If one link goes fail, so the next available link do serve. So it do allow a kind of redundancy for your network. As well, bundle allowed to use two links together, like link number 1 as well link number 2. We can do use. If let's say link number 1 having a bandwidth of 1 Gbps, and link 2 also having the 1 Gbps bandwidth, so it do allow aggregated bandwidth, which is 2 Gbps. So I hope everybody already knows about these things. Just to make sure, like everyone just get in touch what I'm doing here, I've explained. Now I'm trying to configure my port number 1 first. So as you guys already aware about the CLI of Fortigate, so I'm just trying to configure it from scratch. So let's have a password and username. Now we got the access of firewall. So guys, first of all, I'm going to change the name of firewall. Config system global command we can do use. Set host name, and I'm saying firewall Fortigate. And in order to apply your changes, you have to just write here end command. Once we done end command configuration, so we can do configure our WAN port, which is 191. So in order to configure your interfaces, you have to use the command config system interface. And now next command is edit port and port number. So it's port number 1. And here we can do configure IP. First we have to change the mode, set mode static, and then set IP 172.168.1.191. That's my IP address and mask length. Set allow access HTTP, HTTPS, SSH, and ping. These services I'm going to allow. Set role we can also define. So role is your WAN. Set allies name, which is, let's say, WAN and trust. And now we can do end. Now the next task, like if you want to see the routing table from command line, so you can do run the command, which is router info, get router info, routing table details. So that's command. That's a command to see the routing table. Once we done configuration of interface, so we can do verify like this. Further, if you want to see the configuration from CLI, so system interface and port number, we can do mention like port 1. So these two commands we can do verify the configuration. One command will give you a brief idea about the commands, whatever commands you did You run it on CLI. Next command will give routing table presence of your interface, whether the routing table having an interface which we configured or not. So as you can see here, interface having already IP address 170.1.1/24 subnet. So let's have a login. Now the WAN IP allowed to access your firewall. So I'm trying to access my firewall over GUI. So here I can do run the command, which is 91. So just do run 191 and see I got the access of Fortigate firewall. Before starting anything, one more thing we can do. We can just do set the NTP information. So as of now, we do not have NTP configuration here on this. So I can say config system NTP set mode set and NTP sync disable. Now the next command I have to run, which is set NTP sync disable, set custom, set type custom. So these two commands you have to run. That's it. And let's have a login now here on GUI. You just have to configure your username and password. So, okay. I also have to just reload, execute, reboot command we can use and then say system reboot. So guys, till we understand like what all the process we have here on Fortigate to configure the IP address, which we already done many time. And now for this scenario, we can do club these two interfaces to create a bundle as well. Switch link is also there. So my system is restarting. Once system restarted, so we can do start the configuration. Meanwhile, I can do start configuration of these ports. I can do configure 0/2 in VLAN 20 and 0/3 part of VLAN 30. So let me just do configure here on switch. So I'm trying to change the name of this switch, host name, LAN switch. Interface 0/2. It's my switch port. So I'm saying switch port access VLAN 20 and interface VLAN 20. And I can do configure IP address here on this port. So IP address will be this 10.102.102.55.255.255.0. No shut, then exit. That's my SBI port on switch. And similarly, I can do configure my 0/3 port also. Interface G0/3. And here I can say switch port access VLAN 30, switch port mode access interface VLAN 30. And now we can do assign the IP address here. So in my case, it will be 103.103.1.255.255.255.0 and then no shut, then exit. And now we can see the routing table. If we have these VLANs up, so we can see the routing table and see here we have a 102, 103 VLAN and it's all belongs to VLAN 30. That's it. Meanwhile, if I do try to see here access, so we get access of Fortigate also. Just do refresh your page and we can see the access. Yeah, now we got it. So let's have a login here on this. Now you have to say okay and come to here under network and interfaces. We can see here untrust interface is there and it's part of port 1. Similarly, I have to configure these two ports, port 2, 3. So this, so the bundle configuration or aggregated ether channel port we can do configure in two ways, either from CLI or GUI. So as of now, I'm trying to configure it from GUI. So let's do come here under this and select interface type and name is aggregated LAN link. And I'm trying to give Eli's name, which is your LAN. And here you have to select aggregated link, means Ether LSCP standard, which is 802.3 AD aggregated. And here we have option of VRF also that I'll do explain later. Now it is asking which all links you're gonna add in this aggregated link. So let's have a look here. Our topology. So we have a two link, 2, 3. So let's do put 2 and 3, port number 2 and 3. Now these port belongs to aggregated link. Now if you want to put IP address on this, or you want to configure IP address here, so you can do just define IP. And if you see this option, so whatever IP address you do configure here, Fortigate automatically creates a subnet for that particular IP. So as I'm using here 10.1.1/24, so it do automatically create subnet 10.1/24. And I do allow ping service to just verify whether we connected or not. So that's it. Now come to here and say okay. There is bundle link, but it's not showing. Okay, it's showing up. Let's do come here on switch and we can do try to club these two ports 0/0, 0/3. And I'm trying to configure here layer 3 ether channel. So just do select these two ports, interface range. And here we can call our interfaces 0/0, comma 0/1. Switch port access. Okay, first of all, I can say here no switch port because I'm trying to use these ports as a layer 3. And then you can run a command channel group. So those who already done CCNA, CCNP, or those who already having about ether channel configuration idea, they can understand why I'm running this command, ether channel or bundle or channel group command. So channel group is allowed to create your ether channel. Channel group command allowed to create ether channel. So channel group number is 10. And now we can select here mode. And under mode, we can say active. Active is for LACP. That's it. Then now we can come out from here and you see if it's all good, so it will show here port channel or bundling now up. After this, we can run again command show ether channel summary here. And most probably we get here status, which is P. So guys, if you see here abbreviation, which is mentioned here, so P is equal to bundle in port channel, means your port is your port form bundle with channel group 10. Now these two ports showing proper bundle. Now we can see the routing table. Routing table also looks good. Now the next task is to configure IP address on port channel from switch end. So interface port channel and channel name is 10. And here we can configure IP address 10.1.1.2.255.255.0 and then no shutdown, exit, and we can see the routing table. Now, does it showing or not? Yeah, it's showing here. So it means it's all good. We can do ping it with Fortigate whether we are getting reply or not. Yep, it's giving reply. So it means it's all good. We connected successfully and now our ether channel is working fine. So that's a way to create a ether channel or bundle between Fortigate switch and between your Cisco switch and Fortigate firewall. Rest you already have a VLAN configuration. Now the last task, as we are trying to pass internet traffic, so I have to here add default route. So guys, I just do add here one route. You can see default route. The default route will allow to pass your internet traffic, because as you already know, like default route allowed to pass the traffic. Why I'm adding here default route? So let me just tell you, the traffic comes from here to here on switch. So switch will check the routing table lookup. Let's say you are trying to send any traffic from here, 102.102.10, which is in source, and destination you are trying to use 888. So it do send your traffic to switch. Switch will perform route lookup. If routing table do have a route, then only it do allow, otherwise it do drop. So in order to pass your traffic from this switch, we have to add one default route towards this particular firewall. And guys, as we haven't done routing on firewall, so if you see the routing table of firewall, so it look like this. It do have only this 172.168.1.0/24 subnet, as well it do only have this 10.1.0/24 subnet. Firewall also do not aware about these routes. So I have to add route here as well in my routing table. So these route we call reverse route. So reverse route 1 and reverse route 2 we have to add. So in my routing table, if I do add these routes, so it look like this: 102.0/24. And you can easily understand now next hop will be this 10.1.1.1.2 and 103.103.0, and next hop will be this same, because these two LANs coming from your core switch. So these route we have to maintain in routing table of Fortigate, and default route I have added here on switch. And after doing all, we have to make sure like there must be a policy on firewall to allow the traffic. So let's have a route configuration here on switch, here on firewall. Switch we already done. And okay, and come to here under this CLI. We can see the routing table, get router info, routing table details. Yeah, we only have two routes, so we can do add the route in the routing table. So config system, config router static. That's a command to perform routing in Fortigate. Config system routing, config router. And if you want to perform static route, so you have to use the keyword config router static, and set destination. Okay, first you have to perform, you have to use one sequence number. So as it's my first route, so I'm going to use sequence number, which is 1. Set set destination, which is 10.102.102/24, and now enter. Set gateway, in my case gateway will be 2, as I already told you. Set port, instance bed priority, set device port, so it's from aggregated link. Means next hop is reachable from which link? Aggregated link. Now you can save it. So that's a way to add static route from CLI. Now if you run the command, which is your get router info routing table details, so you can clearly see here there is one route from aggregated link. Similar task we can do perform here based on static as well. So come to here and create one static default route, which is from again from aggregated link, but this time subnet will be changed. So it's 103.103.0/24. Next hop we can also do mention 10.1.1.2. So that's it. We're done route configuration. Apart from that, we also have to configure one default route in my Fortigate table, because again, if you want to pass your traffic towards internet, so make sure you have default route. So the very first IP is my gateway for the LAN. So I'm using gateway IP, which is 172.16.1.1, and okay. Now Fortigate routing table looks good. We can come here on policy and we can just create one policy to show to pass traffic. And if you see here policy, so we already have a default implicit policy which says disable log. So you just have to click on here, say enable, and the next task is to create policy and NAT rule. So my policy from LAN to WAN. I'm trying to create policy from LAN to WAN. So people do come from LAN aggregated. They're trying to go to on WAN and trust. So it is asking like to whom you want to allow aggregated links or subnets. So let's say all as of now, all, or you can just do be specific also. For services, I'm going to do allow specific services, only HTTP, HTTPS, and DNS services. Rest all should be blocked. And next is your NAT, which is interface based, all session logs, and okay, policy is done. So we have a policy, we have a NAT rule, everything we have. Now the last task is your verification of internet from client machine. So I'm trying to log in into this client machine, which is part of VLAN 20, and the last machine, which is part of VLAN 30. So let's have a look. Let me just correct the IP address so we can do verify 102 subnet, and gateway will be this. For this, we can also do create a DSCP. So DSCP is another option, but I'm not going to use DSCP here. One zero three 103.50 and 103, and then gateway one. That's it. Otherwise, almost everything we've done here in this topology. It's a quite simple topology. And let's have a look of internet. As you can see, internet is working fine, and I'm getting access as well. We can do start browsing because we already allowed HTTP, HTTPS port. So we can do perform here browsing also. I'm going to start with Gmail. Yeah, it's working. Now the next machine we can also do try, which is your VLAN 30. And we just have to start our browser, then we can do see everything. Let's have some random search. Okay, here you can see it's not working. So let me just see what's going on. So DNS is there. So now we can do ping the gateway of firewall. Okay, so it means there's some issue with connectivity. Okay, 10.103, 103.1, and then 10.1.1.2. 10.1.1.1 is not working. We can see the routing. Okay, routing also looks good. Okay, the next hop is not correct. You can see here. How I do suspect this? Because reverse traffic is not coming. That's why. Further, you can do perform trace out for these. But before starting any troubleshooting, just make sure like you've done your configuration correct. So first do try to start with configuration. If configuration is correct, you must get reply. Yeah, as you can see now, we are getting reply and you can do close it, close, and now do search something here. You must get internet access. So that's it. That's how we can do run traffic with our bundle interface. And one last thing which I'm going to show you here, that's your debug sniffer commands. So let's say if you are doing real-time work on Fortigate firewall, so sometime it happens like traffic is not coming on interface or you are not getting logs. So how we can do verify, diagnose, sniffer, packet. So that's your keyword. After then it is asking for the interface. So I'm saying any interface. If this host matches, so host is 103.103.50, and I'm trying to match another condition which is AND operate along with AND operator. So I'm saying diagnosis sniffer packet if traffic comes from this host and destination is 888. Just show me how the traffic is coming on interface. See, now sniffer mode is on and it is trying to show the capture for these two packets. So let's have a look here on this and click on CLI and do try to ping. So whatever traffic passing through the firewall, we can see here on this. Echo request coming from this IP and reply is given by this. So that's a way to real-time packet capture. The same we can do start with yours GUI also. Okay, I think that's it for the day, and let's have a next session on tomorrow. That's it.